TIFU by checking my BF's predictive text. I, 28F, had never been a toxic GF, but I got cheated on so badly in my previous relationship that some things in me have changed. Also, my current BF, 35M, who I've been friends with for over a year and in a relationship with for 3 months, is in process of getting divorced. So him still being married, although not even living in the same state as his wife, adds a little bit on to my insecurities. Anyways, today he was driving and he handed me his unlocked phone and asked me to send a message to his coworker. Since he had the predictive text enabled, I decided to see what came up if I typed am for amor, which means love. Also, it is the most common term of endearment for couples in Spanish, but that we don't use for each other. I only had to type letter A and it came up. So I brought it up calmly. He said he's not talking to anyone else. And I believe him. I literally typed one weird word once 3 years ago, and my predictive text stills brings it up. He was married, so it could be stored from when he used endearing terms with her. He didn't get mad or angry, but he was shocked. Said it was as if I had gone through his things. I had not seen it that way until he said it. And I would never go through his things or his phone. So I feel terrible now. Especially because he has been the best to me in so many ways. I've apologized and he seems cool. But I can't stop wondering if he's thinking about it. Especially because this is the first time either of us does something like this. TLD or TIFU by checking if my BF's phone's predictive text would show terms of endearment that we don't use with each other. It did. He says he's not talking to anyone else, and I believe him. BC predictive text stores things from a lot of time. But now I feel terrible because he has done nothing for me not to trust him, and I feel like I violated his trust. Predictive text is meaningless. Evidence of nothing and not a worthwhile use of your time. If this starts an argument, then you both lose. For some reason when I type D, they predictive auto text assumes I am writing Dawn. It is irritating. I know no one called Dawn and I never use it. Except for when it auto-corrects and I don't notice. I even told it to forget it from its dictionary, but it still keeps suggesting it. All this is to say, autocorrect is stupid and meaningless. Don't sweat it. It sounds like you did violate his trust a bit, and it feels pretty awful to be called out like that. But it's probably best to just move on and try not to dwell on it. The good news is it sounds like he handled it pretty well and felt comfortable enough with you to be direct about how it felt, which is a really good sign in a relationship. I legit would have dumped anyone who did this to me, lol. These tests are never worth it. You did violate his trust. One of the biggest parts about being in a toxic relationship is realizing that it's damaged you, and working on those damaged parts before entering a new relationship. Otherwise, you just carry on that cycle of abuse and damage. If you don't trust that he is faithful to you, why are you in that relationship? Trust is the founding cornerstone of any relationship. Like, I can understand why he would be confused, shocked. He's just driving along minding his own business and you start asking why amor comes up on his autocorrect. Like, it's a word. That's what autocorrect does. He had relationships before you. What do you possibly gain by asking that? Other than showing him that you absolutely do not trust him. Regardless of how calmly you asked. If these are feelings you have, you need to make them known to him and discuss it with him. Or do the decent thing and leave the relationship. Acting this way is manipulative, for starters, and will only cause a divide between you. Yikes. I'm so sorry for him. Lol, I had a flip phone back in 2008 or so, and for some reason my autotext thing put Emily on the End of I love you. Emily was not my girlfriend's name at the time. And I was not cheating or anything. It just auto-put Emily after you, for some reason. Like maybe I had typed, let's go to the store. You Emily and me, or something a year before and my phone had decided to remember. Anyway, that's why my GF at the time was a little mad. It was the text I sent right before I went to bed, I love you Emily, lol. It was very hard to explain. Even after showing her how dumb my predictive text was. I think I was using T9 Word or whatever was popular at the time. And no, her name was nothing even close to Emily. Anyway, we ended up breaking up. And I ended up marrying Emily. No, not really. I don't even remember who Emily was at this point. As if I had gone through his things. You did. What exactly did you hope to gain from this? You say you trust him and you believe him when he says he has not seen anyone else. But you're surprised that he reacted this way to your little test? Figure out your trauma before this man starts to resent you for holding him accountable for something someone else did to you. You're a red flag. Hopefully you change after this realization or he runs. Ah yes, the classical, punish my current so for the actions of my previous so. He hands you his phone and the first thing you do is break his privacy. Then confront him about something mundane. Yup. He's now considering you might be a mistake. In a split second you decided to type A to see what would come up. Yeah. Not buying it. Toxic. If he was doing something suspicious, do you really think he would have just handed you his phone like that? You sound like you need some therapy to help you heal from your previous trauma. This is literally the conflict in like half of romantic comedies. Seeing some words used totally harmlessly and thinking it means they're cheating. This is even more extreme. Thinking that using a word once means they're cheating is such a massive leap in logic. A foo indeed. That's got to be the thinnest of evidence for thinking he's talking to someone else. Also, while the style in which you write does influence what pops up, it also simply chooses common words. Not just common words that you type. With a red flag like that, he should run. Stop fishing for something to be wrong here. This level of insecurity is going to lead to a breakup, period. Learn to trust or get out now. Worried about predictive text is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Sounds like you're not ready for a relationship yet.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.